Here is a certificate of insurance, and what we're going to do is kind of talk about what you need to be looking for on a certificate of insurance. And we're going to do a series of these on certificates, but the first thing I want you to realize is that a certificate is really worth no more than the paper it's written on. It's essentially worthless. If you go down to here and you look at it, it does say, this is to certify that the policies of insurance listed below have been issued. That's about the only thing that it's worth. And we'll talk more about that, but for practical purposes, what you need to do is when you are getting certificates and you are keeping up with them, you need to do a couple things. One, you want to make sure that the person that you are paying is listed as the insured. None of this takes the place of making sure what is on the policy, but generally speaking, most agents have an agency management system. So if the named insured is coming up there, it's probably going to be the same named insured on the policy. So to make sure that the named insured is the person you're paying. If you're writing a check to James Smith and the named insured is John's Plumbing LLC, then you probably have an issue there, and you'll want to dig a little bit deeper. Okay, right here is going to be where the insurance company's names are. These are related to this section here. Letter A relates to letter A, so you can see what carriers they are. You want to make sure that commercial general liability is checked, that they have general liability coverage. That is an occurrence-based policy. Most policies out there, unless they're professional, are going to be occurrence-based. There's quite a few out there that are claims-made, but if you're getting a certificate that says claims-made, give us a holler. There's some other things you need to look at. We won't go into it here at this time, but make sure it does say occurrence. That's going to be your best bet. You want your aggregate limit to apply per project. What that means is each job site that this sub for you is working on has these limits of coverage right here in the aggregate. And so if he messes up at one job, he's still going to have $2 million of liability at another job or per project that he's doing. That's important to have. Okay, you want this box checked if you can. We're going to talk about that where there'll be some reasons why it might not be checked and you're fine, but you want this box checked, additional insured checked. You want a waiver of subrogation checked, and you want to make sure there's a policy number there. You want to make sure it's an actual policy number and not a binder number. A binder number means that they just have a binder, so you don't even know if the policy is actually issued. So you want to have that. The effective dates, you need to make sure that this is one of the things that is supposed to be there. There's the effective dates, and that's supposed to certify that. But confirm the dates that you need. If you paid them in a certain period of time and you need it to show that, make sure it's there. Okay, you do want $1 million per occurrence and $2 million general aggregate for your subs to have. The damage to rented premises, it can be a deal, but if they're renting from you, that's going to be something you're going to want to make sure you have adequate coverage there. But in most situations, the liability is going to be what you want to confirm that they have adequate limits there for what you need. The business auto, same things. They may not have any auto if they do not own any business vehicles. Then they wouldn't have any auto listed. They're only going to have the hired and non-owned auto listed, and you definitely want that. And you want, again, additional insured and waiver of subrogation applied to their policy. If they do have a business auto policy, then doing the any auto is going to be what you want. And again, $1 million limits are what is generally accepted in that situation that your carrier is going to want to see. That doesn't mean it's adequate, but your carrier is not going to raise a fuss if you've got $1 million and they're a subcontractor. Umbrella, some folks require their subs to have umbrellas. It's not a bad idea at all. That's actually a good idea. Again, you want to see if that's umbrella or excess. There is a difference there, but not a huge big difference. You can give us a holler. We'd be more happy to explain that. But make sure if you have umbrella, that's good. That's better than excess. And you want it to be occurrence, especially if it's occurrence up there. Again, policy number, and then whatever limits that you feel are adequate, you need to have there. Workers' compensation. Again, you can't be additional insured on that. That's not allowed. See that asked for all the time, want to be additional insured on workers' compensation. It's not possible. You can't do that. But waiver of subrogation would be nice. Per statute is what you're going to have. And then at least these limits here, these are the state minimum. They could be higher, but you want at least that for the workers' comp. Here's a big one here. There's a video that we have that I talk about the exclusions in the state of Tennessee. And that is an important deal. So you need to see that. If that's a yes, that's might be a problem. If it's a no, you're sitting pretty. So that's going to be a big deal right there. Those are the things you want to look at. The last thing you want to look at is your name and address should be here. And then you need a 2014 version of the Accord certificate. You don't need a 2010 version, a 2002 version. You need a 2014 version of your Accord certificate. So those are the main things to look at. Please watch these next couple of videos, because what it boils down to is the certificate you have means absolutely nothing unless the policies are endorsed, and we'll talk more about that and what that means. So when you get the certificates, that's good, but if you're asking for endorsements like the waivers of subrogation and the additional insureds, you'll need to get that paperwork from them and keep that in your file as well for your own protection. If you have any questions, feel free to call us, 423-292-4142. We'd be happy to help in any way we can. If you you want to email us, you can. It's help@veritasrm.com, or go to our website at www.veritasrm.com. Thanks, and God bless.